Oh my gosh. So I got up. He was paying the cab driver, and I got up and went run into the house with the kid, And I said, Daddy, that Italian boy is out there. He came to see you. And my mother looked at me and she smiled and she said, he didn't come to see your daddy.
Aww.
He came to see you. I said, what? And my daddy laughed. He'd already talked to Daddy about me, if it was okay, if he would ask me out. So Mary and I and Emily had already planned to go to the drive-in theater. So I said, what am I going to do? I can't run him off. I felt bad, because we had already planned to go out. Well, I got cleaned up, got all dressed up. And so we went in the living room. And Mary and I, we were playing records, and we were all dancing like. And it wasn't his kind of dancing, so he just watched and smiled and grinned. And I told him, I said, well, I went in and asked my mother first if it would be okay.
Can you pause that? Please.
I don't know how to pause it.
Let me see. Which remote is it?
Oh, okay. So we, Mary and I were dancing a little bit because we always dance, jitterbug and stuff like that. And now he didn't know that kind of dancing.
No.
So I said, wait a minute, I have to go in here a minute. And I went in and talked to my mother and I said, what are we going to do? How am I going to, I can't just get rid of him. And she said, no, he told your dad that he really likes you. And he wants to date you. And if it's all right. I said, well, he didn't say anything to me. So she said, anyway, she said, well, ask him to go to the movies with you all. It's going to be me, Mary, and my cousin. So it'd be 3 women against 1 guy. He's not going
to be mad about that.
So we went. I asked him, I said, now we've already planned to go to a drive-in theater. If you want to go, you can go with us. And he said, oh yeah, I want to go with you. So Emily sat in the front seat with Mary, and I sat in the back, and he sat in the back with me. First thing you know, he had his arm around me, my shoulder. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Can't slap him. He didn't do anything. Just put his arm around my neck. And he said, I love you. And I thought,
oh my God.
You're an idiot.
On the first day.
Are you crazy? It wasn't even a date.
It wasn't even a date.
He thought it was a date. He had a suit and tie on.
Aww.
And he said, I love you so much. Can I kiss you? I said, I guess.
You're ready to push him off.
Oh, I didn't know what to do. So I kissed him. I let him kiss me. And, oh my God, he says, will you marry me? And I said,
you said that?
Excuse me? It's a little bit early for that.
Yeah.
And I just remember he kept saying, I love you. I won't ever love anybody else.
Wow.
I mean, it was beautiful. Any girl would love to hurt it. I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I went home and told my parents, well, he kissed me, and I kissed him back. You're awful. You can't see him anymore. So.
Oh my God. So what was the next time you saw him?
The next time was 2 days later when he had to go back because he had this business place. He bought it, and this stupid lawyer who was the head of all the stuff that the uncle had left him, and his cousin and everybody. And I thought, well, he's going to be going back to Argentina pretty soon. That's where he came from. And so he said, I want to marry you the next time I saw him. He came to the house, and wanted to take me out, and I said, he rode the Greyhound bus because he didn't have a car at that time. So we went to pick him up at the Greyhound bus station, and because he called, said, I'm here. So I don't remember going to a movie or anything. I just remember him following me all over the house and saying, you want to go out? You want to go someplace? We'll go out. Have Coke, have coffee, something. And he'd keep, every time I'd stop, he'd say, I love you. I love you. And I want to marry you.
That's so sweet.
And I said, well, it's a little soon, you know. And he said, no, it's not too soon. And gosh, he said so many things that, and then he said, I said, we'll have to wait a while. I said, I'm only 18. I was 18 by that time. Time had gone by. And I said, I have to wait a little bit, And he said, well, I want to marry you. And I said, I know, but it's soon. I kept trying to get across to him that you don't just meet somebody and get married. I mean, so anyway, he said, well, I have a business. And he says, what I'm going to do, he says, if it's okay with you, so till we can so I can convince you to get married, I'll come every Wednesday. And we'll go out and go to the movies or something. And I said, okay, that's all right. You can come every Wednesday and you can stay for dinner. Can you have dinner with us? And so he did. He was coming on Wednesday. So one Wednesday, he didn't show up. He didn't come. Didn't call me. Did nothing. So I said, well, he's probably found another girl. Now, because the uncle said he dated every girl in Montgomery.
Really?
When I heard, now that's the first thing I heard about.
Montgomery, Alabama?
No, Montgomery, West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
That's where my cousin lived. And I said, I don't want anything to do with him. And I just didn't see it, I mean, I liked him. He was very handsome, but marriage, for me, that was forever. And so when he didn't show up on Wednesday, I was all dressed and ready to go out. He didn't come, and he didn't call. So I told Mother, I said, that's it. I'm through. I'm going to write him a note. So I wrote him a letter, and I said, don't bother to come back. I'm through. I said, when you didn't show up and you didn't call me, I was all ready to go out, and at least you could have done was call me. I sent the letter. So come Wednesday, Mary and I decided we're going to move to Florida. Just the two of us. Not going to get married or nothing like that. So she had bought me the dress to get married in already. And she just said, well, you'll have it in case. Because he'd asked me 15 times to get married. And I had this black one. It was real pretty. And it was just cotton, but it was really cute. It was sleeveless. And so I had that on. And I knew a place not too far from there where a bunch of the kids that I went to school with and went to church with were playing baseball out there. So I told Mary, I said, let's drive out there and watch them play a little ball, and then we'll come back and we'll get ready. And I was already dressed up. And I said, now, Mother, it's Wednesday, and he didn't say he wasn't coming. So if he comes, you tell him I'm gone. And I'm not going to, I won't put up with that, telling me he's going to do something and not doing it.
Right.
And after I'd heard that he dated every girl up there. So anyway, oh, how was it now? Oh, we go to the ball game, and we're sitting there. And we were watching the game, and I was enjoying it because they were all the cute guys playing ball, and I knew them, you know, they were friends. So I told Mary, I said, oh, this is great. I said, we'll get packed when we go home. We'll go ahead and go to Florida if you want to. We'll drive. And she said, okay. So I look up, and here comes the car, Joe's car. He finally got a car. Pink. It was pink. Anyway, I said, oh my gosh. And my mother was in the car with him. I said, she told him where we are. I was so mad at her because I didn't want him to know where I was. I wasn't going to have any of that, you know, on and off stuff. I didn't like that. So she said, come here. She's telling me to come up there because where they pulled the car up was, my mother was sitting in the car going like that. And so I got out, I left Mary sitting there, and I walked up and over to the car. And I wasn't smiling or anything. He knew I was mad. And I said, oh, you finally made it, huh? And he's crying.
Oh my God.
And he said, I'm so sorry. I should have called you. I should have called. He said, we were so busy, I didn't get a chance. I said, that's okay. I don't care. And I just acted like, that
tough
was it.
cookie.
So we got in the car, and I think Mary came too, and she drove the car back. So it was all of us, and we got to the house, and he said, I want to talk to you alone. And, we were in the house with everybody was there, getting ready to eat. Daddy cooked. And so he said, come out, let's go out in the backyard. So we went out in the yard, and he said, I want to marry you now. And he said, I don't want anybody else to have you. You're mine. And yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You are cute, but I am myself.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he said, I love you so much I couldn't live. He had it down pat,
Just prepared.
I couldn't live without you. I just couldn't. And you're the one. You're the one I'm supposed to be with. I know it. So Daddy called us. Dinner's ready. So I said, dinner's ready. Let's go inside.
He didn't answer him yet.
No, I wasn't. I was giving him a hard time.
Yeah, you were.
So when we went in, he wanted to sit next to me, wanted to fix my chair, and all this stuff. And I just acted like, he was a dummy. But I kept thinking, he is so cute. He is so handsome. But I'm not going to be treated like that, So I said, he said, he had to leave. He had to go get the bus, So I said, well, okay. Mary and I took him to the Greyhound bus station. And he said, it won't happen again. It will never happen again. I'll see you every Wednesday. I'll be back. He said, but I've got to go close up the place because the girls don't know how to. Stupid girl he had working for him. And her husband was worked in a coal mines. And he said, they're probably up there eating everything up. So he said, I've got to go close up. So, and he said, I'll be back later. He was going to come back. I don't know if he's meant that night or the next day.
Right.
So he left. And after he left, I don't know, my mother said, he loves you, And I said, yeah, he told me. He said, I said, Mother, why did you bring him out there where I was? I had already told him not, if he couldn't call me or let me know, then I don't want to see him anymore. And she said, well, when he came and he sat down in the chair that we were on the porch. My mother and Daddy were sitting on the front porch. And he sat down next to them. And she said, when he's not here, he said, first he said, where is she? And she said, she's not here. And he said, where'd she go? And my mother said, she says it's over and she's not. She went to a ball game. I gotta see her. I have to see her. And she said he started crying.
Aww.
And she said, my mother was she was like, she said he was heartbroken. She said, he started crying and he said, I love her. She's the only one for me. I love her. And she said, so I had to bring him out there where you were. You did, didn't you? So after that, he never missed another Wednesday, and he made it more often even. And he said, let's get married right away. And I said, well, you've got to let me fix the date. And so he said, okay. He said, can we get married now? And I said, no, you have
on the first date.
We have to go to the, you have to get a license to get married. So he said, okay, when can we do that? He was in a hurry.
He was anxious.
And so I think it was the next day, he went home, and then the next day came back, and we went before. I told him, I said, you have to come before they close. I don't know what time they close. So I went in the house, and my parents had a fit. They didn't realize that it had gone that far to where we were planning on getting married. And I realized then that I did love him. He was so sweet. He was so cute. And who wouldn't love him, you know?
Right.
I'd seen him when he was young. And so they did everything. They did everything they could to keep me from getting married. And she said he couldn't come until a couple of days later, I guess. It was on Wednesday. Because he had people coming in working on Wednesday. And I remember Mother said, we're going to Raymond's tonight, to my brother's. And I said, why? And what do you want to go there for? I mean, that's in Ohio. And she said, well, they're going to drive us. We were pretty close to the border there, Ohio. He wants to talk to you. So we went to Raymond's, and we're sitting there, and there was a whole bunch of us, Jerry, his wife, and Raymond, and let's see, who else? Mary, and my dad. Everybody was there. And I'm sitting there, and they all get up and say, you stay there. And they all get up and leave the room. Now, what the heck is going on? And Raymond says, they say you're getting married. You're only 18 years old. 19, yes. You're too young to get married. And they don't think he's the right man for you. And I just sat there and listened to him. And he said, I tell you what, he said, I'll make a deal with you. If you don't get married now, I'll put you can come here and live with us, and I'll put you through Ohio State University. I'll pay for it. And you can do 4 years of university and, get a little older. And I said, I'm getting married. No, I'm going to get married. I love him, and he loves me, and that's it. And he said, but Mother and Daddy are having a fit. They don't want you, they think you're too young to get married. And I said, my mother was 17 when she got married. So anyway, they all came back in, and he said, didn't work. she's still going to get married. I said, yes, I am going to get married. And my mother said, you know, I can stop you from getting married. Because at that time, I think you 21 or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, she said, I said, do you want me to run away and get married? Is that what you want? Because that's what I'll do. I love him. And she said, well, no, I don't want you to run away. But she said, but there will be no big wedding. They'll go to the wedding, but Daddy would walk me down the aisle. Catholic church, too. And he was raised in the Catholic church. He used to be an altar boy. And so Walter, his cousin, was his best man, and Mary was my maid of honor. And that's all we had. My dad would not walk me down the aisle. So I had to walk with Joe. The priest said it's okay. You can walk together.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest knew what was going on.
Yeah.
They sat way in the back. She said, you're making a big mistake.
And look at it now.
65 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we had a hard time because, you know, he didn't have the education to get a fancy job, a good job. And his English, of course, was a little broken.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't care.
It was love.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Florida with him?
When you love somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally then we moved to Florida. And got a duplex, and Mary came with us because she said, there'll be 2 rooms. I'll take 1 room and I'll pay for mine.
Mm-hmm.
That way it would be easier for us.
Yeah.
So we'd already spent the night on the road. We went to a motel and after we got married. And so that's where it started, and it just went on from there.